Buenos días, ¿cómo están? Great day, everybody. Same time, same channel. Sain Manso, founder of Biz Systems. Yesterday, what we did on our live, we spoke about our desired customer, right? We have to be very aware of who we want to share our time with, who we would want to grow with, right? Because you're going to be spending more time with these people. We're going to be spending more time with these people. And our own family. So we have to be very aware of who we want to share our time with in order for us to vibe together and grow together, right? So ayer hablamos de la importancia de nosotros escoger con quién nosotros nos gustaría trabajar, tener la conciencia y tener el entendimiento de que estas personas en veces vamos a invertir más tiempo que con nuestra propia familia. So, es muy importante nosotros saber y más bien atraer a las personas adecuadas para que nuestra energía, nuestra vibra pueda florecer y pueda crecer a los resultados deseados de todas estas personas, ¿no? Buenos días, mi nombre es Sain Manso, soy el founder de Biz Systems. Hoy vamos a pasar, primero quería compartir con ustedes ayer sobre quién es mi cliente deseado, ¿no? Básicamente sería el yo hace 6 años, una persona que en un sentido tenía la ambición, el conocimiento más o menos, pero no daba ese paso. So, en un sentido quería saber, o no quería saber, sino que tenía el entendimiento que personas hacían dinero en el Internet y sabía que era posible, sabía que era posible tener ventas, tener éxito en el Internet. So, en un sentido, mi cliente deseado es yo, hace 5 o 6 años, donde estaba en ese paso donde quería y saber más y poder ganar mi primer $100, mi primer $1,000, $10,000 y así, ¿no? Esa es la persona, una persona que le gusta aprender, que puede tener, ah, que puede aceptar crítica constructiva en el sentido para mejorar, ¿no? Y el entendimiento de reconocer cuando alguien le dice algo, aunque sea medio bruto, pero en un sentido preguntarte, ¿por qué me están diciendo eso? Antes de que yo tener una emoción de, pues que chingue a su madre ese güey, ¿no? Antes de que eso, a analizar por qué me están diciendo eso primero y después mirarlo si está pendejo ese cabrón o ella, pero tener ese entendimiento, ¿no? So in the sense, we spoke or we shared, right, well, how our desired client would be. And my desired client would be me 5 years ago that knew that it's possible to make money online, knew about a little bit of sales and marketing, but for some reason did not take that first step, right? So this is for that individual, give them the surety, share with them what we've done, what I've done in order so they don't make that same mistakes, right? So it's like paving the road for me 6 years ago in order for them to take the first steps and then for them to start making money on their own, create the companies that they desire, learn more about marketing and sales throughout our journeys, and just share that, right? This is the individuals that I would want to work with. So these are my desired customers, right? And also we have to have in mind that it's not just about the desired clients. It's desired people around you in a sense, because the vibration that they have might not align with yours. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. It's just we have to come to a realization that to say, you know what, we're just not aligning. Maybe that's why we're not growing, right? So you have to know when to cut people off. And some of that people might be friends, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles. You know what I mean? Some people just don't align with you, and it's okay, right? It's like I hear Ryan Stillman saying all the time, not all the time, right? But he did say that, and it brings it into perspective. So we have family that we don't get to choose, right? So that would be like my parents, my brothers. I didn't get to choose them. It was just the destined. It was I was destined to be their family member, or they were destined to be my family member. Depends on how you would want to think about it, right? But we do choose the individual that we will want to spend the rest of our lives with. We do choose how we would want our kids to be and how we educate our kids. So it's okay to distance yourself from the individuals that you don't, right? So I seen a movie by George Clooney where I forgot the name of it, where he goes around and he got this backpack. He makes an example. He goes around firing people basically, right? They hire him to fire people and shit. And he has he makes that analogy about backpack and he said we get to choose what we put in this backpack and that's what we carry on our back. So if you choose to carry that individual that brings negativity to you, or that brings some type of baggage that just doesn't align, that it's hard to carry in your backpack, then it's okay to throw that shit out, right? And I thought that analogy was uh nice, and it was, and it's something that we don't think about, but I think that we do need to think about it as we get older. We have to kind of understand that there's fewer or less days ahead of us than there are behind us. So we have to make or draw a line on the sand to say and to acknowledge that you know some people are just not with your vibe. So it's okay to take them out of your backpack. So last week we did speak about offers and how to structure an offer. Today I'm going to go over Russell Brunson's way of going about the offer, right? And he's got a thing. He calls it the hook, story, and the offer, which I think is fucking genius. Because story is the way to sell, right? If we're not selling by stories, then you need to make up a story, not make up a story, but you need to either give them a third party story, how we used to sell in timeshare. And a third party story is basically sharing somebody else's story that it's relevant to the success that somebody may have with your products and services. So in timeshare, whether you travel or you don't, most of the people did not travel. It's like every industry, right? It's like 20% of the people make 80% of the money. I wasn't in that 80%. For some reason, that mentality to switch to a good salesman came later on, not in my timeshare days, right? But I did learn a lot from it, selling, person to person. We went out almost every single day, maybe twice a day. So the way that you share stories is to relate to people. And one of the stories that I know that my wife says it is that when she sold members, or somebody sold members, right? It's like a third party story. I don't know if it was my wife's or not, but somebody sold members and they got to go back to that vacation every year. And that individual's leader, which was the father, had cancer. So they were able to go back, I believe, twice before he passed. He passed, and every time they go back there, they remember him. They remember that special moment that they had. So in that story, you relate to him in a different way, right? So I heard Steve Larson tell a story and how you would sell, right? And you wouldn't think that you would sell, but he told the story like this. He said it was a rainy day. I was on my way to catch the bus. He's like, it was super rainy out. I was getting soaked, and I see this nice car just pull up. It's probably like a Rolls Royce Phantom, we could call it, just to give it a description. Something like a Rolls Royce Phantom, and the guy got out of the front. The chauffeur got out, and he had I lost train of words here. Uh, so he had the umbrella, and he went around the car. He opened up the back seat, and a guy copped out. So me curious, he said, I went up to him and I said, "Sir, I mean, forgive me for being so blunt, but what do you ask? Like what do you do? Like how do you have a chauffeur with you driving you around? And I would like to know." And he went back into his car. He handed me a book and said, "Everything you need to know is within this book." Right? So in a sense, that story, what it did to me, I was in a sense super curious to know what was really in that book. What book was it? But you sound in that manner, right? Like you have to bring the emotion to these people, either to be curious, either to get them to want your products and services, right? And you connect with them emotionally through stories. Because when you say facts, people could say, "Nah, I don't believe that," or they know some other fact. But with the story, it's either they relate or they don't relate. So it's very important for us to be masters at storytelling. And I say all that to come to this is the the way the section that Russell Brunson puts it down, right? It's called the hook, story, and then it's the offer. In this specific sequence. So you would say a hook, you would say story, and then you would give them your offer, right? So tenemos que saber y ser muy conscientes de la manera que nosotros presentamos nuestros productos y servicios. So, lo podemos presentar con hechos o lo podemos presentar con historias. Historias es lo mejor. Y la razón por qué historias son lo mejor es porque la persona que tienes enfrente de ti o las personas que tienes enfrente de ti, cuando dices un hecho, lo pueden rechazar. En un sentido, eso no es cierto, o escuchó otra cosa después, ah, o escuchó otra cosa después, o no está de acuerdo. Pero cuando lo dices en una historia que en un sentido toca la relatividad, que puedes conectarte con tu audiencia, con la persona que tienes enfrente de ti o las personas que tienes enfrente de ti, es mucho más impactante a sus emociones, porque o se relacionan o no se relacionan, pero no tiene algo negativo hacia eso, ¿no? Algo que hacíamos en el tiempo compartido o que siempre nos enfocaban, pero nunca nos decían por qué, ¿verdad? Eso lo vine aprendiendo después, que nos dicen cómo decir historias de tercera persona. Es decir, tú compartes una historia o de tus socios anteriores o de alguien en tu familia, pero de alguien más. Son un sentido, una historia que oía mucho o que se me quedó en la mente, es que una persona le vendió a una familia que el papá tenía cáncer y lo que compartía con sus clientes que tenía enfrente de él era que pues yo le llegué a vender a una familia que tenía cáncer y hasta hoy en día los miro cada año y cada año vienen y me dan las gracias por presentarles esta oportunidad de poder vacacionar cada año. ¿Por qué? Porque pudieron vacacionar 2 veces con su papá antes de que falleciera o antes de que trascendiera. y pueden, cada vez que regresan aquí, pueden recordar los momentos que pudieron compartir con él antes de su fallecimiento, lo feliz que estaban, tiempos que no eran en un sentido tan agotantes o tanto pensar en la enfermedad, ¿no? Y se relacionaban con eso, porque nunca sabes, toda persona se puede relacionar, ¿verdad? Dijera el abuelo de un amigo, la muerte es lo único cincho que tenemos en esta vida. Y si lo pensamos, pues sí, no todos vamos ahí. So, en un sentido, la muerte es algo relacional que toda persona se puede relacionar, ¿no? Menos que no está pensando en morir o eso, pero ya alguien mayor ya sabe que viene. So, en un sentido, lo relacionaba con que, oye, güey, te vas a morir un día, puedes traer aquí a tu familia, aquí está la playa, puedes disfrutar 100% de ellos una semana que no lo haces allá en su casa si compras esta membresía, en un sentido, pero a través de la historia, ¿verdad? So, tenemos que saber contar historias que relacionan nuestros productos y servicios para que pueda tener el impacto de relacionarse a tu cliente potencial, para que tenga una conectividad emocional, espiritual o como le quieras nombrar, para conectarse con tu producto y servicio. También oí una historia de Steven Larson que es muy simple, ¿verdad? Pero en un sentido, les cuento la historia, ¿verdad? Dice, un día estaba lloviendo, pero lloviendo un aguacero, algo bien, estaba mojándome y estaba yéndome mi carro se había descompuesto, estaba yéndome hasta la parada del autobús y en eso llega un carro, un automóvil, ponle que un Rolls Royce, llega, se baja el chofer con la sombrilla y va y abre la puerta trasera para que se salga alguien más. Y yo de curioso, corro hasta la persona, ¿verdad? Me acerco a la persona y le empiezo a preguntar, señor, me gustaría preguntarle, estoy en un mal estado financieramente, pero me gustaría saber o conocer de lo que usted hace para tener un chofer, para tener este carro. Me gustaría saber, aunque sea poquito, si me puede compartir. El señor se mete para atrás al carro, ¿verdad? Y me da un libro y me dice, ¿sabes qué? Todo lo que necesitas saber para mejorar tu estado financiero está en este libro. ¿Ah? Yo no sé ustedes, pero a mí cuando a mí me contó eso, yo estaba curioso y en un sentido quería saber qué era ese libro. Pero de esa es la manera que nosotros necesitamos vender nuestros productos y servicios. Compartir historias, ¿verdad? Y digo todo eso para llegar a lo que hoy quiero compartir con ustedes sobre, tenemos que saber nuestros ganchos para captar la atención de la persona, saber cuál historia vamos a compartir con la persona y luego darle nuestra oferta. Lo hacemos en esta secuencia, vamos a tener mejores resultados para poder nosotros vender nuestros productos y servicios. No sea que sea coaching, no sea que sea bienes y raíces, uh, obviamente en productos de casa como plomería, electricidad y eso, lo venderías de otra forma. Pero básicamente podrías compartir una historia de que alguien estaba gastando un chingo de agua, pero por qué gastó agua? Hasta que nos llamó a nosotros y tenía un gotero, literal, goteando en, en el toilet y por eso gastaba tanta agua. O tenía un pinche gotero que le estaba chingando, dañando la carpeta, dañándole el piso, la losa, X cosa. Tenía un gotero en el tinaco. Por eso es importante tener un mantenimiento, ¿no? Ese es tipo de historia con que alguien se puede relacionar, ¿verdad? Porque las historias, alguien se puede relacionar o no se relaciona, pero no tiene algo negativo. Si así dices un hecho y la persona dice, no, ese güey está bien pendejo, entonces ahí es cuando en un sentido es negativo la, la, el, se me fueron las palabras, el outcome que tú viste, no, el resultado de tú decir un hecho fue negativo en ese aspecto. Pero si lo compartimos en una historia, o se relacionan las personas o no se relacionan, ¿verdad? So, es nomás de ponerle creatividad, pero lo hacemos de esta forma. El gancho, la historia y la oferta, en esta secuencia. Quiero compartir con ustedes historias, me quiero mantener en mis tres nichos que yo estoy interesado, sería el multinivel, mercadeo en red, bienes y raíces y home-based businesses, ¿verdad? No, no sé cómo decir eso. Negocios de servicio a la casa sería como plomería, electricidad, uh, remodelación, pero lo compartimos de esta manera. ¿Sabes? Si están viéndonos, pónganos ahí en el chat de dónde nos están visitando, de dónde están y qué productos y servicios ofrecen para poder hacer un gancho, una historia y una oferta. So, fam, you guys are watching us from anywhere in the world. Please put down your city and let me know what you sell. What products and service do you sell? How we can make an example of the hook story offer so you could try it out and seeing the difference that it could make in introducing your products and services and therefore acquiring more clientele, more customers, and so forth, right? So the outcome here is for everybody or for anybody to do simple things that we could start doing that would increase our sales. So we have to, in a sense, in the stories, when we share a story with somebody, we have to kind of be related. We have to relate it with them. And obviously, if you have or if you have the individual or you know your potential client, then you would know their pain points, so you could relate that within the story, so it's more relatable to them, right? You could either do a story that you share with them. You went from fat to skinny, or fat to skinny to fat, and you relate to individuals, whether you sell health products and so forth. You relate to first time buyers if you're a real estate agent. You relate to individuals either downgrading or upgrading their house because the kids went to college, so they don't need big ass house, or they got more family members, right? Living with them. Maybe dad had to move in, the in-laws had to move in, or they just moved in because she decided to take care of them right at home. So either they had to upgrade, downgrade, so forth. You relate to them by telling them a story. So if you were selling if you were selling a house, your hook could be like, do you need to upgrade? Is there unexpected things happening in your house where you have to get a bigger home? And then you could share a third party story would be, well, I had a client, her name was Sally and Tom. Uh, they were Tom's parents were getting elderly, and they didn't want to put them in a retirement home, so therefore they upgraded their house. They got a private nurse to come in 6 to 8 hours a day. Was able to take care of Tom's parents, and they still live at the house to this day, and they see him every day. They don't have to go anywhere to go visit them. They get to visit the grandparents, the great grandkids, and so forth, right? So in a sense, it's a story that you could relate to. Obviously, put a little bit more sauce into that story. That was just an example, but that's the way that we could sell them either upgrade or downgrade, and then you would give them an offer. Be like, did you know that house is in this area, or there's incentives for you to upgrade? It's not considered an investment or so forth. You get incentives, or I could help you sell your old home. Your house is worth this much, and it would only be like $200 more or $300 more if you upgrade like 500 to 600, or get a two-bedroom, a two more bedrooms compared to what you have, right? So the offer, we already know how to create that, but if we present it in this way, we have a better success rate, you could say, right? So, tenemos un gancho, tenemos una historia y tenemos una oferta. Aquí, si yo soy un agente de bienes y raíces y yo le quiero vender una casa más grande a mi cliente potencial, permítame, mi perro quiere salir. ¿Usted viene y go outside, bro? Chachiri, llámale a Hank. Llámale a Hank. You gonna stay with me, Hank? All right. So, si yo quiero venderle una casa más grande a una persona o le quiero ofrecer una casa más pequeña de lo que ellos tienen, entonces puedo hacer un gancho, es decir, estás buscando una casa más grande de lo que tú tienes, necesitas una o dos recámaras más, porque eh, la historia sería, no, es el gancho sería eso, necesitas una casa más grande, hay incentivos si tú ya tienes una casa, ¿no? O si tú eres dueño de casa, hay incentivos para que tú puedas adquirir una casa más grande. La historia sería, puedes compartir con Elsa y Tomás, tienen a sus padres que no lo quieren poner en una casa de ¿qué sería? Como lo hacen los gringos, ¿verdad? Allá en Estados Unidos, es un retirement home. Es una casa para tercera edad, puedes decir, ¿no? Una casa para tercera edad, en vez de traerlos o llevarlos a una casa de tercera edad, prefirieron adquirir una casa más grande, y ahora ellos contratan a una enfermera que venga a revisar o estar con sus padres las 8 horas mientras que ellos se van a trabajar y X cosa, y ahora pueden compartir la casa con sus nietos, sus bisnietos, no sé si lo estoy diciendo bien. Y luego la oferta sería, si tú eres dueño de casa, te puedo ayudar a adquirir una casa más grande, porque hay incentivos que el gobierno te da, especialmente si vas a hacerlo para obtener uh, a personas de tercera edad, X cosa, ¿no? Pero si lo hacemos de esta manera, es mucho más relativo. Las personas que tienes enfrente de ti o tus clientes potenciales se relacionan mejor a través de esta secuencia. Tienes el gancho, tienes la historia y tienes la oferta. Right, si yo fuera, si damos el ejemplo, si yo soy, si estoy en el negocio de multinivel o del mercadeo en red, tenemos que tener y tener una clara idea de con quién estamos hablando, ¿no? Porque les menciono, muchos hacemos muchas presentaciones que yo he ido de multinivel o de mercadeo en red. En esos negocios tienes a dos clientes y tenemos que saber y definir, no definir, ¿verdad? Pero mirar a quién tenemos enfrente de nosotros, qué cliente es, porque hay la persona que le va a encantar los productos o por eso está ahí, y está la persona con quien le va a gustar la oportunidad de hacer dinero. So, tenemos que estar muy conscientes a quién le estamos hablando. Casi no oigo a personas hablando de esto, o a personas en el mercadeo en red o multinivel que hablan de que hay dos tipos de clientes que existen en el multinivel. Siempre lo confundimos o atraemos a las personas a través del producto y luego al último les empiezan a decir que hay una oportunidad y es donde como que la gente se tira es una de esas pirámides y la chingada, pero es de saber si la persona que tú tienes enfrente de ti le gustó o está por ahí por tus productos, entonces manténlo en los productos. Ya cuando tenga tiempo usando los productos, esa misma persona va a ser en un sentido reclutador al rato, ¿no? Pero tenemos que saber a quién tenemos enfrente de nosotros. O sea, la persona que le encantó nuestros productos o es la persona que le gustó la oportunidad de negocio. So, di que estamos enfocados en el producto. El gancho sería si tienes productos del bienestar, decir, te ayudamos a regular tu diabetes en menos de 3 o 4 días, ¿no? Usando nuestros productos. Y luego dices una historia. Tenemos a Juan, tenemos a Juan que empezó a usar nuestros productos diario, en 3 días notó una diferencia y a los 60 días o a los 2 meses o a los 30 días, 40 días, X cosa, cuando regresó para atrás al médico, su médico estaba sorprendido porque ya no se le notaban los altos casos de insulina o el diabetes ya casi no se le notaba, X cosa, pero tú compartes una historia sobre Juan. ¿Por qué? Porque el gancho obviamente es del diabetes, la historia es obviamente relativa a tu producto o servicio y luego le das la oferta. Y de ahí la oferta sería, mira, tenemos este producto, X cosa, te, te ayuda a regular eso, igual como Juan, hasta te damos una semana gratis de producto si compras dos meses a la vez, no X cosa. Pero lo presentamos de esta manera para poder tener un mejor impacto, una mejor conectividad con nuestros clientes, ¿verdad? So lo hacemos de esta forma. So if I were to do this in a network marketing niche, right, or an affiliate niche, when you would say a hook, and we got to be very clear about this in the sense, right? Because in a network marketing business, you have two different types of clients, and I rarely see people talking about this, right? You have the individual or the potential customer that is there to check out the product, right? And when I've seen these presentations, most of them concentrate on the product, and then at the end they're like, "Wow, there's also an opportunity." But we gotta be very very clear that that individual is there for the product or service that you're offering them. They don't the opportunity comes secondary and it might throw them off. And more than likely it does throw them off, right? So you have the individual, this is your two clients. You have the individual that is there for your product, and then you have the individual that is there for the opportunity to earn money selling your product. So the product comes secondary, and on one, the product is first, and we have to make them separated. We have to keep them separated. Eventually, the individual that likes your products will eventually either promote your products and so forth, and therefore you can make them a distributor later on, right? But we have to keep that separate. So let's say if we're speaking about products that you have, right? Products in the wellness industry, and your hook would be like, my product will help you if you have diabetes problem, if you have high or low insulin or high blood pressure. This would be your hook, and then your story would be like, I got John, I got John and his family or his wife. They were diabetic, stage 1, stage 2. I don't know. You can make it relevant to the individuals that you would want to help, right? And you have to be ethical, right? I need to clear that up. You have to be ethical. You can't make some shit up and expect to get some sales, which you will get some sales, right? But let's be ethical. Let's be ethical to the most that right to the most that we could do. So your story would be like, I got John and Mary. They were diagnosed with diabetes. They tried our products. They noticed the difference within the first 3 days of them trying our product. when they went back to the doctor and their monthly checkup or so forth, the doctor was amazed and asked them what you were doing. What were you doing? Because this is significant improvement from the last time that I seen you, from just 30 days from when I seen you. And then they could tell them like, whoa, we use this product, and then your offer could be like, we give you a month's supplies of free products for you purchasing 90 days worth of product, right? And this will be your offer. But then you presented it in a hook, a story, and offer way. So therefore, you have the hook, it's their attention. You have the story, the relatable effect. It's basically, it covers like two or three things, right? Is that they've done it for somebody like them, and they've done it for somebody like them recently, right? So therefore, you relate to them, but you tell them in a story, and then you give them the offer because they're already related. They are already curious about your products and services and so forth. If I was, I think I already went through the real estate one, right? If you were a HVAC individual, a HVAC business owner, and you wanted to do this sequence for, let's say, for monthly checkups for every 120 days, then your hook would be like, do you know if you keep regular maintenance, it would actually save you X amount of money per year? And then you could say stories like, uh, I have I have Bob. I have Bob and his family that I go and do checkups every 4 months for a fraction of what it will cost you to do a repair. But they've only done maintenance the last 4 or 5 years, right? So in a sense, you relate it to them, and then you give them an offer. So my offer would be like, I'll charge you $120 for me to go check out your HVAC. I'll do a full inspection. If I need to clean something, then I'll tell you if it's extra or not. But I will keep a regular maintenance every 3 or every 4 months. So therefore, it saves you this amount of money. But you have a hook, you have a story that they related to or they can relate to, and then we have an offer, right? So we have to do it in this manner. Now that I'm explaining it, it makes so much fucking sense, right? I guess you have to be a teacher, or you have to teach your own things in order for you to understand it sometimes, right? But that's basically it. So the way we would do it is the hook story offer, right? And if you don't have a relatable story, share a story from a book. Share a story, but it all has to be related towards your product and services, right? You can't just tell some off the wall story, then it's completely irrelevant, and it doesn't do shit for your business or serve for your business. So you have to relate it. You know what I mean? If you're selling houses and you're speaking about fucking tractors and farmers, then you know what I mean. That's you're not going nowhere with your stories. So, fam, I hope that this was clear enough. I want to invite you guys again to be part of the Biz Systems community where we share things like this, where we can share our bottlenecks, our frustrations, and maybe you get feedback from other individuals. But the point here is to grow, right? And to share things that we've done that has worked for us, because we have to be a community. I don't think that nobody has done anything by themselves, right? They're self-made. That's a matter of opinion, but somebody had to help them along the line. Like we're all a collective, right? So, familia, espero que eso les haga sentido. Tenemos un gancho, tenemos una historia y tenemos una oferta. Si lo hacemos en esta secuencia y en esta orden, eso sería primero el gancho, luego la historia y luego la oferta, ¿verdad? Haciendo esto en esta secuencia, tenemos más probabilidades de captar y de relacionarnos con nuestros clientes para poder hacer una venta. Y la neta ya la entiendo mejor explicándolo de esta manera, ¿verdad? Y en veces Como una vez miré un señor hablando de estas cosas y decía mucho, no me digas o no me preguntes por qué trabaja, pero trabaja, ¿no? So, en un sentido ya les entendemos y entendemos por qué las historias son tan importantes y están en esta secuencia, ¿no? Le voy a dar la vuelta, quiero ver quién está con nosotros. Si tienen alguna pregunta, ahorita la contestamos. ¿Qué onda, primo? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todavía estás ahí? ¿Esa fue la raza? Is everybody there? Everybody gone? No worries. Well, fam, we see each other same time, same channel, 9:15 Mountain Standard Time. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the value ladder and how we can structure the value ladder in order to descend and not leave money on the table, right? So tune in for tomorrow, same time, same channel. Harasain Manso, business and founder. Mi gente, no me despido porque nos seguimos viendo. Mañana vamos a estar hablando de la escalera de valor y cómo empezamos para descender a nuestros clientes a futuros productos o productos que cuestan más y tengan más valor, ¿no? Depende a lo que ustedes están ofreciendo. Nos vemos en el mismo canal a la misma hora, 9:15 Ciudad de México, aquí en el Facebook. Tengan un buen día. Un fuerte abrazo a todos.